One last thing to show. I wish I would have seen this earlier. The back comes off easily. There's just nails that you bend over. That way you can put the movement in a lot easier than what I did. That way you could slide the movement in and then have access to the bolts that hold the movement in, which I had trouble getting those out earlier. Because this didn't unwind properly, what I'm going to do is take this back plate off to get to the barrel so I can unwind it properly. Now, to get this back plate off, I'm going to have to take a couple things off, to include this brass bar here I told you is used to adjust the verge up and down. The cool thing about these older clocks is the time side is here, the strike side is here, so I shouldn't have to worry about adjusting or taking the power off on the strike side because it's totally separate. There is a nail right here that I'm going to have to get out of the way. And then these screws right here, and I should be able to take the time side rear plate off. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the suspension spring again, because I don't need it in my way. Here's that plate I was telling you that you adjust for the birch assembly. And then once I take this screw right here out, I should be able to take the rear plate off for the time side. And again, I've never worked on one of these fusee movements before, but I have a general idea of how they work. There's a slot right here that this plate will slide up on. Because the screws are out, it should slide up after applying a little pressure. And of course, you want to take pictures of what it looks like so you can put it together properly. There's another nail right here that I have to take out. Now it should slide forward. There we go. Maybe there will be a maker of one of these plates also. There's a S pen right here that I'm going to have to take out to get the barrel out. You should be able to see that S pen right there. Well, the barrel comes out, but I have to get the fusee out also. Now I'm sure this cable cannot be twisted, so that's what I'm trying to do, is untwist the cable. Now I have to figure out the barrel. And I'm sure the spring that's in that barrel has came disconnected. Yes, I'm in my pajamas. It's a cold day out. I'm not going anywhere, so working on clocks. There's the spring. Here's the notch that catches that spring. But this spring in that barrel is not catching. So I'm bending the spring some to get this arbor to catch that spring. Now I'm going to tap this barrel cap back on. Which it is. Now I have to I should have paid attention and find out which way this spring winds, but I'm going to grab a key to make sure that this is catching the spring. It wasn't catching spring, so what I did was squeeze the spring around the arbor, so now it should catch once I put this cap back on. Okay, now it catches. So now I have to put all this back together. The issue, and I'm sure this is what caused the issue, is this catch is not dropping. It's not dropping to go into, the click is not dropping to go into the wheel, and so I have to figure out how to get it to drop. I loosened up the screw, cleaned it up, and now when you wind it, it drops. So now I have to wind it, and at the same time I have to get this cable to go around this barrel, just like this barrel. You see how tight the cable is around the barrel? Well, that's what I have to do to this barrel and try to keep all the kinks out of the barrel. And as you can see with that stupid camera, as you can see with this barrel, the cable goes on top of this piece right here. So I have to make sure that the cable is on top of this piece right here. So I'm going to do that off camera. So I have it wound up. Now I have to put the escapement wheel and all the other wheels together. And I have all those parts together, but because this is a separate plate, I'm going to go ahead and take a toothpick and clean out the holes put some fresh oil on this side and put some fresh oil on the other side. Before I put the plate back together. Here's my handy dandy little tool here to put the pivots where they need to go. Hopefully I can. And now, put this plate on. And there's a screw right here that went into this plate. But apparently that screw is not working. So I'm going to put the plate on after I verify my pivots are in. Which they are, as you can see. And I'm sure that screw is stopping me. I just got to figure out where it's at so I can put it in right. There we go. Now to put the screws and the nails back in their respective spots. But I forgot to do one thing, and that was to oil the pivots. However, I can get to it because of the holes that they have in this thing. I can oil the pivots after I put all these screws in. Y'all should have reminded me, but that's okay because I can still oil the pivots. And this is the bar, again, that you use to adjust the birch assembly. They were very genius in making this clock. I love the fact that you can work on the time side separately from the strike side. sometimes your toothpick breaks off in those holes, so you have to have a tool to get the toothpick out. And I've got a tool, I just gotta find it. And all my clutter. I don't see the tool that I'm looking for, but maybe this pair of tweezers will work. I have an ice pick, not an ice pick, but a pair of it's a pick. It's a S pick with 2 points on it that works really good if I can find the thing. My problem is I'm constantly helping people out, and therefore when I go to work on my stuff, I don't find what I'm looking for. But there was a piece of wire that got that toothpick out. So now I have to put this down. There we go. And once I put all this together, I'm going to wind the clock to see whether I did anything good or not. I think it will work. The spring is catching, but there's always that chance that it won't work. The screw don't want to go in. So maybe I used the wrong screw down here. I don't know what's going on. The screw fits, but I'm gonna have to watch my videos because a screw's not working right. I should have paid more attention. I didn't have to watch a video. I used the wrong screw. I finally figured it out. But I got the nails on top. The only thing to do now is wind this puppy up and see if it works. Okay. It's not winding properly. So I'm gonna have to take the tension off and then beat it as I wind it, just to get it started. I had to take it all back apart, but as you can see, with me holding the screwdriver in there, the cable's now following the lines as they should. But at the beginning, it didn't follow the line, so it's not going to wind up perfectly, but hopefully next time it will. And so now I have to adjust the crutch assembly again. You see it fluctuating like that? And if you look, it's because it's skipping, the escapement wheel is skipping. And so I have to loosen these screws and get it to adjust properly so the escapement wheel is not skipping. I need to bring the crutch assembly down some. If you bring it up, the escapement wheel is going to skip, and I'm going to show you that, hopefully. Look at the escapement wheel in this area right here. When I bring this lever up, escapement wheel is ticking. If I bring it up too much, it skips. So you have to adjust it so the entry and the exit on the verge assembly is the same. So now I need to put a hand on it. I need to put all this back together, put a hand on it, and see if the hand is going to move. What I'm going to do is put that right there and get it to tick. To see if this pin right here moves on me. And doing my trick with the Sharpie, drawing a line, will help me. But I have to get it to tick. And hopefully I see my line move shortly. Just like in an older cuckoo clock, the suspension spring, which would be this thing right here on this clock, for the minute wheel with minute pinion, it has to be adjusted just right. If it's too loose, the hands will drop. If it's too tight, the hands won't move. So I don't know if you can see this or not, but without the pendulum on, with it ticking away here, the hand is moving. You should be able to see it move. So the next step is to put the suspension spring back on, the pendulum back on, and adjust the time. I hope you are enjoying this video. Hear this hand move from about this position to where it is now in this minute 20-second version of this video. So now that I got the hand sorted out, and like I said, it was this tension arm right here that controls the minute wheel with minute pinion. I have the clock ticking away. The hands are moving. It sounds like it's in beat. I'm getting feedback from my Time Trax beat amplifier, and sorry about that, but now I just have to let it run and then come back and see whether I need to adjust the pendulum. I did straighten out the pendulum. The pendulum was crooked, so I held the top section of the pendulum leader wire and then took another tool and bent it some so the pendulum is parallel, I guess, to the case itself, the movement. So we're getting there. Still working on this fusee drop dial wooden plate clock, and I finally took this what is known as a minute wheel with minute pinion gear off on a cuckoo clock off, and somebody had put this lock washer on to put it as tension. It might have worked at one time, but it's not providing the right tension for this gear. So I'm going to have to either spread this out or come out with a different tension washer. Because sometimes the hands work right and sometimes they don't. And I believe it's got to do with this tension washer. This is just to lock this gear in place. This piece here. They should have had a hole in this, just like cuckoo clocks have. Like there's a hole there. There should have been a hole in this to provide the right tension, but that shaft is not long enough for a hole unless you were to drill a hole in the side of the pinion gear, but that wouldn't work. So I'm gonna have to use something like a lock washer or something else. And with the verge loose, I might need to wind it back up. You'll see that, yeah, I need to wind it back up. Stand by. It's dark in my room, but as you can see, it's all unwound. There's no longer any cable up here on the fusee part of it. The cable's all down here, where that's where it goes when it unwinds. And as you can see, with me winding it up, the cable is now following the grooves that it's supposed to follow. As I told you before, I thought it would catch up with itself, that I didn't have it in the right spot to start with, but now it's following those grooves to allow it to wind up fully. And that's it. When it's wound up fully, this piece here, man, I wish I had better light. This piece here catches that piece there, and that's what that's for, to stop it from winding anymore. So now, when I raise this lever in the back that I told you is used for getting the verge in the right spot, when I raise it, you will see that these hands will go around and then they skip at certain points. I got to be able to see what I'm doing, so I can see what I'm doing, I just can't feel what I'm doing. I went too far. You see it pausing, and that's because the tension washer is not quite right. And the reason it's not quite right is, watch this. You see it wobble? It's because there's a lock washer in there. And so I need to come up with the correct tension washer. Always something when it comes to my clocks, isn't there? Well, I knew the lock washer's not going to work, and I looked in my junk bin, and I found this spring. And I thought, that might work. So I put this custom spring off, and when you push down on this lever now, it doesn't rock back and forth. But now I have to get it to where it catches this gear. So I might have put too much spring on it. When it's down on the gear, it doesn't rock back and forth as much as that other thing did. So might have too much force on it. So I might squeeze it some and see if I can get it to work. And I just noticed something. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Maybe if you look in this hole here. There are two pinions on there that somebody has attempted to repair. And that might be causing the slippage of the hands. I don't know if you could see them, but I'm going to explain to you what they did. I've got 100 toothpicks laying around, and when I want to go to find one to point at stuff, I can't seem to find one. Right here and right here, they drilled a hole in this wheel, and they shoved two pieces of metal, one here and one here, to make up for broken leaves on this pinion gear. And that might be causing my slippage on the hands. So I'm going to look on Time Savers and see if I can find one of these gears that might be hard to do. But I believe that is what's causing the slippage. In those hands. The clock still runs. It's just the fact that the hands will slip. And you could see where this one is bent further back. If you were to draw a circle around this, the ones that they put in would not touch that circle. And that's why it's causing it slip. I don't know if you understood my explanation about the circle. So here I have a piece of wire. And in this section of the wire is what I want you to pay attention to. When I hold it up to 3 good pieces, it touches every one of those pieces. But when I turn it over to 2 good pieces and the piece that they added, the piece that they added doesn't touch the wire. And it's the same way on this one over here. The piece that they added doesn't touch the wire. And so that's why I think it is skipping, because as this thing rotates, it's skipping. It's not quite catching the hour pipe. This being the hour pipe. As it is rotating, I know you can't, I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm going the wrong way, but when it goes in those gears, it has a little bit of, sorry. I have too much stuff in the way. As this minute wheel with minute pinion is going into the hour pipe, when it hits those homemade leaf pinion, it is catching slightly. So, and like I said, I need to come up with a better compression washer. So in the process of doing everything else, I also snapped this off. And so I took a wire, I heat treated it, and I have it installed right there. The only thing that wire does is hold this pinion down. And I took a piece of metal that I had laying around, and I made this compression washer. So now I'm going to try that out. The washer itself fits down inside the wheel like it's supposed to. At least that's the way it does on cuckoo clocks and what have you. And just so you know, when you turn the hands backwards, when you got this thing on, and you turn the hands backwards, it will lift it up out of there. When you turn the hands frontwards, when you got this thing on where you want it, it will push it down inside there. You see that? I take that back. Turning hands frontwards takes it out. Turning it backwards brings it down in. But I think that's what this wheel here is for, is to keep it inside. Anyway, I got a compression washer on, and I'm going to try it out and see whether or not the hands spin correctly now. With the compression washer on, as you can see, the hands are spinning like they're supposed to. So I accomplished something. Yay! Well, the good news is this clock's been ticking away for a couple of hours. The bad news is the hands is still not moving. And it still has to do with the stupid wheel here and the pressure on this wheel. I will figure it out. I just don't know when. I got my drop case dial clock in today. It does have a fusee movement in it, which I thought it did. The clock is ticking. At least it was. The original dial was this, and somebody at one time put this paper dial over the top of it. It was sent out just 2 days ago, and that's surprisingly, I got it this quickly. It's going to be a fun project, but I love it.